Okay, so picture this. You finally buy your family's perfect dream home. But before you even spend one night there, a letter shows up. And just like that, your dream completely falls apart and becomes this true American horror story. Today, we're diving into the chilling and still unsolved mystery of 657 Boulevard. So back in 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus shelled out over $1.3 million for this gorgeous home in Westfield, New Jersey. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just any old house for them. This was it, the culmination of a lifelong dream. I mean, you can totally see why they fell in love with it, right? It had 6 bedrooms, a huge, beautiful yard for their 3 little kids. It had everything. This was supposed to be their forever home, the place where they'd watch their kids grow up. But how many nights do you think they actually got to spend in that dream house? How many family dinners, how many memories did they actually make inside those walls? The answer, honestly, is the most stunning part of this whole thing. That's right, 0, zilch, not a single one. They never even moved in. And the reason why? Well, just 6 days after they closed on the house, their absolute nightmare began, right there in the mailbox. So they're doing some renovations, getting the place ready. The moving trucks haven't even pulled up yet. And they find this weird, kind of thick envelope. No return address. It's just addressed to the new owner. What they found inside? Well, it was about to change their lives forever. Can you even imagine reading that? Right away, it's just this incredibly creepy sense of ownership, of history. This person who called themselves the Watcher was basically saying the house was theirs. The family, of course, called the police, but everyone kind of figured it had to be some sort of bizarre prank. Well, any hope that this was just some one-off, messed-up joke, that was completely shattered when a second letter showed up. And this time, the tone wasn't just creepy anymore. Oh, no. It was threatening. And it was focused on their kids. This is where it gets truly terrifying. The Watcher starts talking about their children, calling them young blood. The letters would even go on to mention the kids by name, describe what they were wearing, and which windows they were playing near. The family was, and you can only imagine, absolutely horrified. So yeah, that dream house, it wasn't a dream anymore. It had become a prison they couldn't live in, and as they were about to find out, a prison they couldn't escape either. And this whole ordeal just stretched on for years. They couldn't sell the house because the story was public by then. They couldn't even rent it out. At one point, they tried to demolish it and just start over, but the town wouldn't let them. They even sued the previous owners, who it turns out had gotten one weird letter but just ignored it, and they lost that case too. So for 5 years, they were stuck paying a massive mortgage on a home they were way too scared to ever set foot in. And the financial hit they took, it's just staggering. After 5 miserable years, they finally managed to sell the house in 2019 for just under $960,000. That is a loss of nearly $400,000. And that's not even counting all the mortgage payments, the taxes, the money they spent on private investigators. Just brutal. Okay, so while the family is stuck in this psychological and financial hell, a huge investigation kicks off. The big question for everyone was, who is writing these letters, and where are they watching from? And look, they did everything you're supposed to do. They called the local cops, they hired their own PIs, they even got the FBI involved to do handwriting analysis. They went door to door and questioned every single neighbor on the block. And after all that effort, what did they get? Nothing, just one dead end after another. Now, there were theories for sure, but never any real proof. The main suspect for a while was this neighbor whose family history seemed to kind of line up with what the Watcher was saying. But he was questioned over and over, and they never charged him. Years later, some anonymous tip came in suggesting a totally different motive, but that went nowhere too. The Watcher just stayed a ghost. And to this day, the case is completely cold. It's unsolved. But the story has one final, really chilling twist that just makes the whole thing even more baffling. Get this. The moment the Broaddus families sold that house and a new family moved in, the letters stopped. Just like that. The Watcher, who claimed this generational obsession with the house, just went silent. So it seems like the torment wasn't really about the house at all. It was personal. It was aimed right at them. But that just raises even more questions, right? Like, how on earth did the watcher know these super specific details about the inside of the house? Things that a stranger, an outsider, would have absolutely no way of knowing. And if that isn't weird enough, how about this? The watcher seemed to know things from when the house was first built, way back in 1905. We're talking about details that weren't in any public record anywhere. Stuff that only someone with a deep, personal connection to the actual bones of the house could possibly know. So we're left with this one giant unanswered question. Who was the watcher? Was it a neighbor holding on to some ancient grudge? A rival who wanted to scare them away from the property? Or something else entirely? To this day, nobody knows. And the mystery of 657 Boulevard remains one of the most haunting, unsolved cases in America.